Welcome to another spooky Halloween cookie. So for this one, again, we're going to just drop some flood icing on here and we're going to paint the background. Now, you don't have to paint the background, you can flood it as well if you want, but I like to make some quick and easy options as well when you're making cookies because we all know they take so much time. So if we can cut any corners, then great. If you prefer them, more icing or the flooded look, you can definitely do that as well. So here I'm just going to get right to the corners. I want to cover all the cookies. This is a great option for people that may not like tons of icing on their cookie either. So always keep that in mind too. If you need an alternative option, you can always paint on your cookies. And here I'm just adding a little bit more icing just to get all the way to the edge here. Now once I've painted my base, I'm going to add a little bit of black flood here. And I've just done some squiggles, and I'm not going to paint the whole thing black. I just want to give it some kind of dark, eerie clouds or, that kind of vibe to this cookie. So we're just adding some dark colors here and mixing it in a little bit. You can add as much or as little as you like. This is going to be our background sky, so I want to make it nice and scary and spooky. Now if you've added too much black, then you can put a little bit of purple back in there. You can really play around with it and see kind of how you like it. I'm going to be adding bats later on, so I don't want it super dark. So I want the bats to stand out against the background a little bit. So that's why I'm adding a little bit more purple here. Really, you can do any colors, blue, yellow even, orange, whatever you'd like. Just have fun with it. And then we're going to set this aside to dry. This is a thinner layer. It shouldn't take too long to dry if you have a fan. That really speeds up the process. Now you can see it's dry because it looks matte. And I have a circle cutter here, so I'm just going to use this and an edible marker to trace my moon. Now I am a terrible freehand drawer, and even if I had to type freehand, I'm not very good sometimes. So this will give me a nice crisp moon outline that I can follow with my icing. So here what I'm just going to do is try to line up the corners here. I'm just going to line up the inside lines of the cutter here so that everything lines up nicely and my moon actually has a nice shape of a moon. So, you could use your projector if you have one. I'm just kind of showing you another way to do it just in case you don't have it. You can always trace something on a piece of paper or parchment paper and cut it out and trace it as well. So I try to use what I have on hand to make it work, and it worked out pretty good. So I got a nice little outline here, and this is an edible marker that I can link below as well. It's great to have these on hand for things like this or adding little details as well. And now I'm going to take my outline consistency and I'm going to outline my moon here. And yellow is an easy but hard color for me to get sometimes. So I always have a trick of mixing lemon yellow with egg yellow, and it always comes out with the perfect yellow. So sometimes lemon yellow is a little bit too light. It's bright but light. And egg yellow is a little bit too orangey. So the two together make the perfect bright yellow. So you're going to let this outline dry for a minute or so, just so it keeps its shape really well. And then I'm going to put some squiggly lines in there. Just need them in the really narrow spots here. So I'm going to put them in the tips here. And then I just go with my flood, and I'm just going to cover my little squiggly lines here. I'm going to go as close to the border as possible and try to cover up my outline. And notice I'm using my left finger there to guide my piping bag. So I'm holding the bag with my right hand and guiding the piping bag with my left finger just to give some stability to it. I find sometimes with you having your elbow or your kind of forearm against the table, that really helps as well. And then we're going to set it aside to dry. We want to make sure it's pretty good and dry so that when I do my details here, it doesn't ruin or indent the moon. And I'm going to try to freehand some bats here. So I already practiced on a paper towel a few times just to get the kind of hang of what I'm going to do. And then you can see I kind of messed up. I went a little bit too far, so I'm going to just scrape it off here. Good thing it blends in with the background, so we'll be okay, but that part's going to get covered anyway, so I'm not too worried. And so I kind of want this one a little bit in front of the moon and off to the side too. And I'm just going to fill it in with my outline consistency. So I did the outline and I filled it in right away, so then you won't see a difference between the outline and the flood. And because it's a small little kind of bat here and I put a lot of icing in there, I can smooth it out pretty easy. It's a really small design, so if you go to outline it and then try to flood it, you might over flood it or you might crater a little bit because it's so small. So I'm just doing everything with my outline consistency here. If your outline is really stiff, it might not work so well, but usually when I have a black color, with all the black that I add to it, it gets a little bit looser, so it usually works good for these kind of details. Here I'm just adding a smaller bat in the front of the moon, and I'm just fixing it up with my scribe to get the kind of shape of it. Then you can make tiny ones, on the moon, on the side, wherever you'd like. I'm just adding a little detail so that it looks, some bats are far away and some are closer together. And there we have our spooky nighttime cookie. I hope you enjoyed the video and we'll see you in the next one. Happy baking!